The college football experience, coaching hires, Army, Navy, and FCS Playoffs preview and picks episode on the Sports Gambling Podcast Network is presented by WynnBET. WynnBET is now live in Arizona, Colorado, Indiana, Louisiana, Michigan, New Jersey, New York, Tennessee, and Virginia. From boosted same-game live in-game odds to WynnBET is what you need to win. Sign up today. Bet $100. Get $100 free bet at sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WynnBET. That's sportsgamblingpodcast.com/WYNNBET to claim your free bet today.
Hey, everybody. Jim McMahon here, and you're listening to SGPN. Let it ride.
Yes. Woo! Welcome to the college football experience. Coaching hires, Army, Navy, and FCS Playoffs preview and picks episode. If you're wondering who the hell you're listening to, my name is Colby Swinging Database Dan, a.k.a. Pick Dundee. That's not a pick. This is a pick.
He was raised in the land down under, where a man thinks on his feet, speaks with his fists, and lives by his wits.
When Dundee happened, he was a superstar.
I smoke and I drink and I don't have stress and I'm healthy.
The season keeps on churning. What? I mean, we got a lot to tackle. A lot. You think, there's only a few games. No. I am joined by my co-host. Give it up for former JMU Duke defensive back, the burrito eating, sideline kiss stealing, wheeling and dealing, Patty C in the place to be.
Hi-oh!
Yes. Only a clean 1,400 in the transfer portal. Don't worry about it. Not a big deal. And we got third man in the booth. Been hanging out with him all week. Haven't done one Jaeger bomb with the guy. Give it up for former. Well, actually, no. The DFS god himself. Come play DFS with us. I got a feeling I'm going to win tonight. Play DFS college basketball. I know there's no college football games out right now, but got a feeling over there. We're going to tweet that out from @TCE on SGPN. Give it up for the rooftop IPA drinking, homebrew making, tobacco road living, the free lack giving, former earned the Basketball League MVP. Give it up for NC Nick in the place to be.
Boom, there we go. What's up, guys?
I mean, 1,400 people.
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off!
You just don't turn it off because guess what? Guess what, guys? We still have like 4 more weeks of the transfer portal being open. Woo,
right now, it is a spigot that is spewing players.
Yeah, especially in ACC quarterback country.
Oh, I mean, what the hell is going on there? Everyone's, there was speculation. Drake May, he seems to have doubled down on staying at UNC. Shout out to him. But I mean, what? Jerkovic leaves Boston College for Pitt. Slovis is in the portal.
DJU.
Brandon Armstrong, Jeff Sims, Devin Leary out of the fucking blue. You would think. I was shocked by the Leary one. Does that make any sense to you besides maybe just trying to get more money?
MJ Morris is the future.
What is MJ Morris? Is that
he was a freshman.
Is that a clothing company?
Oh, no.
It's a tobacco company. It's the brother company to RJ Reynolds. I mean, maybe he was worried about his job potentially, I guess. I mean, MJ Morris looked pretty good. He didn't look that great.
He's coming back as a 5th-year senior. I know. I don't think that would be a.
But he didn't look good this year. He didn't look right. Leary didn't look great all year, so maybe he had some disagreements with the offensive philosophy or something.
Well, the offensive coordinator is gone. We'll get to that in a second, but I just want to key on a couple things here. I see everyone is outraged with the transfer portal.
Who's outraged?
Every administration. It seems like every coach is talking about it.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
there's some coaches that are happy with it. I think Deion Sanders being one, Lincoln Riley. I know Brian Kelly and Lane Kiffin probably were happy with it this past year as
I
well.
thought you meant esteemed members of the media like us.
Yes. Well, I mean, I find all this stuff really funny right now because college football's problems are the reason why they're outraged. Like problems from the past are the reasons why they're outraged. I saw, people saying, and this, if you think it's bad with, we should be going to way more than 12 teams in the playoffs. Because if you think it's bad with the opt-outs, not playing in bowl games,
I think it's going to get worse.
No. The 1,400 players in the portal or whatever, those are players that are not playing in the bowl games.
Right.
Yeah.
So now you have not only the opt-outs, you have the other side of the spectrum. I mean, I think I was reading a report of a bowl game where there's going to be a third-string quarterback against a third-string quarterback, a third-string running back against a third-string running back. We're going to have a hell of a fun time handicapping these things.
I saw something on Twitter, someone saying like, if you've already like made like early bets in bowl games, you're absolutely crazy. I mean, it's going to be tough enough to bet, once we know who's gone. Let alone now where we still have no idea who's going to play, who's going to be there, player-wise, coach-wise, you name it.
Well, before you had the opt-outs, and we still have those. Will Levis, I expect Bryce Young. We've seen some other names opt out.
I just saw Rodriguez also to join Levis.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, but then you add in, take that example. Cavassier Smokes in the portal. Their backup running back to Chris Rodriguez. Other players are in the portal. I mean, shit, Alabama had like 8 guys hit the portal. Texas had like 10 guys hit the portal. Those guys are not eligible to play in the bowl game. So it adds this whole new element. This is why we need to go to a gigantic playoff, because all these bowl games, as much as I will watch them because they're football and we can bet on them, they're all kind of useless.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I wonder if there is a stat in terms of the total number of opt-outs and transfers that you have, but it does seem like in terms and with the relevance of these players, these are starters at at essentially every ACC school, at the quarterback position.
At every school. I mean,
Riley Leonard's not going anywhere, guys. Just throwing that out there.
Duke football, the only one that's intact.
Front runners for the ACC Coastal next year.
No, but I saw.
Yeah, but it is all over college football.
Dude, it's everywhere. Luke Musgrave sitting out, the tight end for Oregon State. The linebacker at a corner, I think, for the Beavs as well.
Michael Mayer's going pro, and he's opting out.
Nolan hit the portal. They don't have the lawn chair. I mean, you can go one by one on these teams and see there's gigantic holes of players that have left. So, hey, this is more of a reason to do more than 12, guys, because guess what? Unless you move back this transfer date, this is going to be a problem for the rest of time.
Yeah, I mean, so what are bowl games anyway? People are off of work for the most part, sitting around. There's something to watch, something to gamble on. It doesn't really change that. Sure, it makes it more difficult, and it's been trending in that direction for a few years now, and every year it gets more difficult to try to handicap it, but
this is
still
all
get good ratings.
This is all a result, though, of them being lazy and them having, like, whether – they didn't have the expanded playoff. They had this stupid bowl system. And between that, opt-out wise, and the fact that forever they've blocked transfers. Even Bill Snyder was notorious for this. Bobby Bowden did this. And guess what? The pendulum swung the other way, and boom.
I want to hear you tie that thought together, because how is I'm curious. You might be right, but how is them previously blocking transfers, before the portal was a huge deal, which I guess that's why it wasn't a huge deal, was because it wasn't, there were rules that kept you from doing it.
It was the blocking and also that having to sit out a year.
Sit the year out. That
was a huge deterrent. People were like, I kind of want to go somewhere else, but I don't want to sit out a year.
Dude,
but I feel like, would that be a thing that necessarily led to this?
Yes.
I guess
all of it leads to it, because the players are saying, what the hell, man? I signed on to play at USC, and John Robinson, I'm the fourth string running back, but he won't let me transfer to San Diego State because
I would say that's more likely to keep a player, on the team and less likely to transfer. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm talking about like player empowerment over the years that builds up.
Well, sure. Eventually, maybe it was an inevitable thing, and now here it is. And so, I'm playing devil's advocate here because I don't know, but it seems like now that the players are fully empowered, this is when this shit is happening.
No, this will slow down. This is the first year of it, I think. But yeah, I think as a result of it, obviously, and backups from Alabama and backups from all these schools, and starters looking for better opportunities. It's going both ways. But yeah, I don't think
there's been a couple solutions thrown out there, and because look, bowl games make a lot of money off of having a bowl game. The TV dollars. People have said, "Well, have NIL for bowl games." Like, hey, if you play in this game, you're going to make this much money.
You still have to fix the transfer thing because,
then people might transfer after the bowl game, and that would make at least that bowl game specifically more meaningful. The rosters are more intact, so there's no reason why you couldn't transfer after the bowl game.
Yeah, or you just get rid of it all and have a large playoff.
That would be the ideal scenario.
Because those players going to the NFL, they'd still probably opt out.
Shout out to everyone in the chat. James S., we're going to get to the FCS lines. Don't you worry, my friend.
Yeah, what were you going to say, Freddie?
I want to play with this idea. It's a little confusing, but I do feel like, yes, the pendulum has been swinging this way, and here we are. But
they were assholes for so long. They deserve all of this. All these coaches whining now that we don't got to do something with the portal. You deserve all of this. You guys deserve all the sport deserves all.
You could say slave owner mentality, whatever, trigger things you want to do, but there was a time when I think culturally it has changed to where now the culture is more about hey, people should be getting their bag, and allowing players to go and do their thing. Whereas before, I think culture was more based on the commitment, and I think that has changed where our culture now is more individualistic, and so I don't necessarily blame the system for having those values back then, but it has changed.
To me, if you have a fourth string running back that's not getting in, and he's not going to get in, and you're just being a dick because you don't want the other team to have your playbook.
Right.
Yes. If you are being that, then you are an asshole.
It happens all over, man.
For sure. But to Patty's point, it's not just college football. Look at the corporate world. I mean, the days of most of employees staying at the same company for 30 years is done. People are skipping around all the time. I don't know what that means, but look, I mean, this is it. This is what we're dealing with. So let's make the most of it. The programs and the coaches that embrace it are going to have more success than the ones that don't.
Yeah. So anyway, I mean, we've had a wild the portal. I mean, I guess we needed a whole episode just for the portal at some point. Coaching. UNLV. I'm so curious. I feel like we should just start from the top. We should start from the top on what we. I'm going to ask both you guys what we think the best hire is and what the worst hire is. But okay.
I wonder what Colby's going to say for the best hire.
Oh yeah, that's right.
He wouldn't necessarily be wrong. So
we're back, baby.
Brent Key, right?
Yeah.
Yes, something like that.
Yeah. Okay. You want to start? Let's start with Deion. What do you guys make? I mean, how about the news of him landing Sean Lewis from Kent State, head coach, almost got the Cincinnati job.
Unbelievable.
Now the offensive coordinator in Boulder, and I don't know if you saw the amount of people that have bought season tickets and like Instagram and Twitter followers. And I know that's all stupid, but it does, in a sense. It means that this hire, without him coaching a game, I think he's already paid off. I think it's already paid off by the fact that even Klavikov was saying that the Pac-12 is no rush with the Big 12 already doing their deal with the media rights. That we're we're in no rush because we think Deion's value for Colorado and nationally the value there is going to be a big thing for our brand.
Do you think he is full of shit in terms of saying he was waiting on Deion to sign?
I do. I do, but I don't think he was probably tipped off to that.
But he's right.
Yeah.
That it helps that they haven't done the media rights deal because now the product is worth way more.
I mean, Deion, let alone for the university, with getting this much pub around it, is absolutely gigantic, and especially while the Broncos are down, I expect their numbers to be pretty damn substantial from a TV ratings and a ticket sales thing. But what'd you make of the Sean Lewis hire?
I mean, the dude led the nation in points per game 2 years ago in 2020. That's pretty nice. Granted, he hasn't replicated it since 30 and 66 in the last 2 years, but
I mean, their schedules were unbelievable this year, though.
Yeah,
This thing for Colorado to be able to take a MAC head coach and make him offensive coordinator, that's something like the SEC does. You know,
exactly.
So that tells you something right there. So peel it back up originally and say, what about the Deion Sanders hire? And I'll be the first to say I was a naysayer. I didn't think it was going to happen. I thought it was complete wishful thinking on Colby's part that Deion would say yes to Colorado. It turns out that the university, the new president, they are, going all in on football. And that's what it took to land Deion Sanders. And anybody that's not saying that's an A hire, I see ESPN right now has it as an A minus. I mean, why even throw the minus in there?
Yeah.
Come on.
Risky.
That is an
A little risky
hire.
I don't think
if
it's
you're
risky
Colorado,
I don't think it's risky.
What's the risk?
Yeah.
The risk is that, primetime university, right? It apparently was filled with infractions, that he was, I don't know. I don't even know what the background was. I haven't read enough.
That's a thing of the past. It's the Wild West.
Primetime University is essentially Trump University, from what I understand.
Dude, but that shit is on. Like, I think there's, even right now, like I said, he hasn't even coached a game. And it's
he's in absolute denial that anything bad could come in. And
no, look, I don't know that he's going to be able to win a national championship or even compete for a national championship. But I think the buzz around the program already has increased the value of interest, showing what a sleeping giant they could be. Fans
100%.
coming out of the woodworks, money coming out of the woodworks.
Barring any catastrophic occurrence as it recruits to violations, then I agree with you completely. It right now is an absolute grand slam home run. Hell of a hire.
Jimmy O'Farms makes good points in the chat saying, he's only been there a couple years. He just barely beat Tennessee State. Still, though, what was Colorado's other options?
Well, and he didn't have Sean Lewis and these guys he's surrounding himself by.
We still don't know how good of a coach X's and O's Deion is. But he might not need to be that good of a coach, X's and O's, if he has the right coordinators in place.
Well, and one of the things I thought was smart was Sean Lewis has had the fastest offense in the nation the past couple of years as far as getting up there and calling hike. Well, Colorado plays at that altitude. I think that's a huge advantage.
Oh man,
yeah.
wind sprints in the mountains.
It just puts Colorado on the map because they have not been relevant in a long time. Even with some of their decent years, nobody on the East Coast cared. They
weren't landing. They weren't landing recruits, dude. They landed a 5-star recruit in the first 24 hours. They already there's speculation. The Notre Dame's running back flipped or decommitted tonight, and that was supposed to be a huge land for the Irish. There's speculation. Who knows if he ends up at Colorado or not? We'll find out in the coming days. But he's gonna just land so much talent there. Regardless of the wins, the eyeballs will be there, and that increases your value. Clearly, winning has nothing to do with it in college football in 2020 or 2022 because all they care about is the eyeballs. I mean, UCLA and USC haven't been good until this year. You know what I mean? Look at years past, and for them and that value, they added to the Big Ten and what the Big Ten is going to give them financially, strictly about eyeballs, not about wins. So that's why it's so
from
important.
That perspective.
Yeah, and not just important to Colorado, but important to the Pac-12 also.
And important to college football, man. The Big Ten and SEC were running away with it. I think Deion going there is gigantic for the sport. I also thought it was good that Brohm ends up at Louisville because I think that's a situation where, had it not been his alma mater, there was no way he was going to take that. What'd you guys make of Brohm to Louisville? Nick?
Fortunate timing.
It's an upgrade over Satterfield, so it's kind of interesting how that played out because Satterfield, I think it's safe to say that he was on the hot seat. He's been on the hot seat for a couple of years. He has not taken Louisville to the next step. He hasn't been awful there, but I mean, what has Louisville been under Satterfield? They've been
7-5. I feel
8-5, 4-7, 6-7, 7-5. Very average.
Generous 7-5.
And and with Malik Cunningham, with his career, I think winding down. Is he done or does he have one more year?
I think he's done.
I
Gotta
think
be
COVID
done.
might be able to have one more year, but
With
I think
COVID, it's so hard to tell.
yeah.
But I think it's probably a smart move by Satterfield because he knew his seat was warming up. So might as well move on to the next position now, quit rather than get fired, right?
There it is.
And the timing is definitely advantageous for Louisville because now they go out and get, I'd say, a better head coach. He just took Purdue to the Big Ten championship game. So in his time at Purdue, once again, it wasn't all a great success, but the last 2 years, 9-4, 8-5.
Yeah,
it's pretty
Purdue's
good.
a tough place to win.
Definitely
That's impressive.
Yeah.
So we gave Deion an A, correct?
Yes.
What would you give Brohm to Louisville?
I give that an A too.
Yeah,
I'd say B plus.
No, I think it's an A because I think it's exactly what they need. Like
I'm you guys are way too lenient of a grader. Okay, I'd say B plus.
Well, what would we give Satterfield to Cincinnati then?
Look, Satterfield and our guy Blanton Stamey in the chat. He's an App State guy, but he did a great job at App State. So I still think he's a good coach given the right position, but certainly this is not a slam dunk home run hire.
Well, you know what really hurt that Louisville thing? He had a great first year. They were way better. They were way better when they thought that they would they were supposed to be bad in his first year, and he greatly overachieved. But then he flirted with the South Carolina job and I guess lied to people. And ever since then, it's been kind of on shaky ground in Louisville.
15-18 ACC record.
Yeah. But I want to say it was last year that he lost a lot of close games. But yeah, I mean, that it is what it is.
You have a good quarterback who's been there for a while. Those are games, if you're going to win, that's the situation you win them with, an experienced quarterback running your system. You take that away from him, then I don't know. That's not an encouraging sign.
So if I had to give this a grade, I would say a C. Maybe C plus. You might be able to talk me into a C plus.
Again, I'm going to be a little more generous than you, Nick. I'm going to say it's a B minus just because I think Cincinnati is, being careful here a little bit about going into the Big 12 and not wanting to shit the bed with a risky hire.
GBO Farms in the chat makes a great point, though. Why not hire Tom Herman? This is a guy that probably should have never got fired at Texas. And, he's familiar with the Big 12. He's recruited in Texas. He's recruited in Ohio. It just makes so much more sense.
Yeah. Can't argue with that.
What is Cincinnati's MO? Like, there was a time when Bob Huggins was the coach of the Bearcats basketball program. They were kind of like a badass program, and I feel like the city of Cincinnati kind of sees itself that way. But Fickle was a relatively conservative hire, and obviously I think Tuberville was probably considered a conservative hire before him. And
it's a conservative hire. I mean, I thought Fickle was a perfect fit.
It was a good fit, but it
playing
wasn't
in the state, being a coordinator, and then an interim head coach in the state at Ohio State. I think
that's
that one
a good fit. It's a good fit. It's
sense.
just, I mean, I guess when you consider how much they've grown since Fickle's been there, but Brian Kelly had them, at an undefeated season, go and playing in the Sugar Bowl, and they still, I don't know, they still took a basically a retired coach in Tuberville after him.
So, well, let me ask you this: what is
Butch Jones? I don't know. I'm drawing a blank on their history, but either way, they're not going after home runs. They're not taking risks like UCF going after Gus Malzahn. That's a risky move. That's
So you wanted them to hire Urban Meyer?
Yeah, I would love for them to take a chance on a dude that has proven it at a high level.
Yeah,
and that has the potential to continue to do that. what, even if there's like some risks involved. But no, they go with Satterfield.
Didn't Tom Herman have a 9 or 10 win season at Texas?
Yeah, Tom Herman would have been a little bit of a riskier hire, but with a higher ceiling.
I don't even think riskier. Where's the risk in Tom Herman?
Well, he again has some baggage that
Herman?
isn't Louis.
Because he was at a strip club.
Yeah, he has. I don't know. His fucking dirty laundry was aired all over the fucking internet for a year or two.
I don't think he has baggage.
If Urban Meyer has fucking baggage, then Tom Herman has some baggage. It's not quite as heavy, but it's of the same variety.
I'm not aware of the Herman baggage. I'm not saying it doesn't exist. Maybe I just missed it.
He was at a strip club once or something.
Well, that's just awful. I can't. I can't have
the fact that you don't even know. It tells me that I don't have to listen to your opinion on it. Okay.
Oh yeah. Well, you don't know that Urban Meyer helped cover up some fucking murders.
All I'm saying is no. I mean, Urban Meyer. You're going to tell me that Urban Meyer is the worst human being in the world, and that's your opinion on it. I think Urban Meyer has gone from. Urban Meyer has always been in position to be a pariah because Florida and Ohio State are hated universities, and he's not a particularly bubbly guy. But then you throw in, you got these little motherfuckers saying, "Hey, kick me at practice." Like, get this shit out of my face. This is a great coach. These are minor fucking infractions. Now,
minor, dude. There was a murder at Florida where he pretty much is having the police not talk to the player.
Well, let me ask you this.
He made his bed.
Is it his job to fucking give the police, access to these players? If he's
what's
like,
your stance
is it in his best interest to protect his players? Yes.
Dude, when there's a murder.
Yeah, I know. It should. He should probably turn the
stance on this New Mexico State assistant coach, the basketball assistant coach who had a
all
gun.
I'm saying is, okay.
It's his
told
job.
me that story.
You
told me that story. Go ahead.
Oh, you're a maniac. You're a maniac for this team.
I'm going off of what you told me, and all I know is that you're always trying to tell me that Urban Meyer's a fucking scumbag.
Dude,
and I'm
watch
sure you're
that
painting this with
documentary
a negative brush.
That has been established. He's a scumbag. Okay, that doesn't mean he shouldn't be head coach again.
He's got his fingers up a girl's butt. He's not like the dude who's necessarily.
I'm not even citing that as the problem. That's his own.
I know. You're trying to tell me that this guy, it's his responsibility to put his players in a position. I don't know the details of the situation, right? But I'm taking your
documentary, buddy. Watch the documentary. There's multiple.
You watch the documentary, all right? I don't know. Okay, maybe you're right. All I'm saying is Tom Herman was at a strip club. There was some impropriety going on, and then you got this whole fucking thing. And it ends up with wasn't it a monkey biting a fucking stripper or some shit? I don't know.
I'm lost, guys.
Isn't that how that story ended? I'm lost too.
Anyway. Welcome to the college experience.
Yeah. What's your stance on OJ Simpson? Good guy. He's misrepresented. The glove
did not fit.
You must have quit. Right. The glove did not fit. You must have quit. Unbelievable stance, buddy. You need to watch the fucking documentary on Florida football that Netflix did.
Hey,
it's available for you. I
know
know you have Netflix. You can
Johnny
watch
Carson has a school in Los Angeles named after him. Not Johnny Carson. Johnny Cochran. So if the guy defending OJ gets a fucking school in LA named after him, then Urban Meyer's a saint. All right.
Oh my gosh, how you doing, folks?
Where do we go from here?
Yeah.
All complaints can be DM'd directly to Patty C.
Yeah.
I mean,
oh man.
Let's go.
Anyway, I'm giving that a B- as well. B- as well. Another thing is they could have hired Jamie Chadwell, who ends up at Liberty. I thought that would make a lot more sense than Scott Satterfield.
I mean, Satterfield is close. It's kind of a Debo move to take the Power 5 school right next door to you and be like, he's ours now, your rival, and be like, actually,
no, it is not a Debo move. They wanted to fire Satterfield. They were waiting one more year for the buyout.
If Nebraska took your coach, right, then that would be a Debo move. Right,
but not when they're trying to get rid of them.
Though. They're not even in the same conference. I mean,
all right, there was whoever Colorado's biggest rival is. Who's ECU's biggest rival?
But Pat, you're missing the context here, though. Like they wanted to fire Satterfield this year. they didn't the buyout. Like Cincinnati ended up paying Louisville. They were really happy that happened. They wanted Jeff Brohm the whole time. They wanted Jeff Brohm before they wanted Satterfield last time. They're doing backflips over there. They're fucking Papa John's even fucking partying. All right. Oh man. So Jamie Chadwell goes to Liberty.
Can we talk about that for a second? Because is that a step up?
Financially, it is.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's out of the Sun Belt. He's out of the Sun Belt. He's going to the new CUSA where they're going to dominate it probably.
Yeah. I kind of wonder if he was kind of afraid of life without Big Bird. if he was like, you know what, I let me strike while the iron's hot.
Big
I think it's a good hire though. I think it's a B+ hire.
I think it's
I'll give it an A. I'll give it an A. The great rating of Pick Dundee coming through right now.
I mean, what is Liberty supposed to get? This is a guy who's had a dynamic offense for 3 or 4 years now.
This is where Patty C goes, and Jerry and Falwell. Let me tell you about Falwell. He's being misrepresented. They have this shame piece documentary.
I'll watch this documentary, Colby, and I want to see, is Urban Meyer actually doing something that other coaches wouldn't do? Is he supposed to put his players in a position where they might be incriminated, or is he a good coach for fucking keeping his players out of that position?
No, he didn't keep him out of it because they did that. You know what I mean? Watch the documentary. I
don't know that he knows that there was a fucking murder. I'm sure he was just like, okay, yeah, I'll have to watch the documentary, but and maybe we just stop right there. But
yeah,
assuming the guy doesn't fucking know that his players have murdered anyone and the police are trying to fucking pound on their door and prosecute these dudes, then he's going to use his power to be like, no, fuck you. I'm protecting my players.
I want you to watch the documentary and then no more hypotheticals. Right. Watch.
I'll report back. Yes. I'll report back. All
right. Chadwell, I think, is going to keep Liberty football afloat. I think it will still be a winning program back from, I feel like they've really got it going now. And I expect them to dominate the CUSA. After that, let's go to, Coastal Carolina hires Tim Beck, the OC of NC State. And maybe that's why Devin Leary's transferring. I don't know. But I thought NC State's offense sucked personally. I thought that was their downfall, was their offense was super conservative. And I think the Coastal Carolina hire, you want me to here's a bad grade from Dundee here. I'm going to give this one a D. I think Tim Beck's a bad hire by Coastal Carolina. NC Nick, you're a Shots fan. You're here in Raleigh. What'd you make of that hire?
Yeah, I follow the program pretty closely, and I didn't really know too much about Tim Beck. Apparently, I guess he took over when Eli Drinkwitz left. Yeah, that offense has always been mediocre at best. So I thought it was a strange hire, but Coastal Carolina made that move so quickly. Obviously, they've had this guy. This guy has been in their crosshairs for a while now because they did make it so quickly. He kind of was a grad assistant under Bill Snyder. I know you like that.
Oh yeah.
And then he's been around college football for a long time, but first time as head coach, I think it's a very questionable hire. Honestly, I don't know much about him. So, I'm going to say it's a C.
He was with Tom Herman at Texas previously before NC State and with Tom Herman at Ohio State. And then before that, he was at Nebraska. And then before that, he was with Mangino in Kansas as a wide receivers coach when they had that great run. Maybe there's something there. Patty C, what do you make of this hire down there in Conway?
Going back to what you guys were saying, the last 3 years, the highest their offense ranked in either scoring or total yards is 29. And other than that, they're basically in the 50s to 100 range. That is a pretty mediocre offense, even with experienced quarterback play. That's not a great hire.
Yeah.
I guess you're getting a guy with Power 5 experience, so maybe he can handle the wheel, maybe he's of a big program. But I guess that would be the thought process behind that. But he hasn't proven it from an X's and O's standpoint. So I don't like it that much.
All right, now I'm going to backtrack for a second. Guys, will they win a conference championship where they're at? Will Deion Sanders win a conference championship at Colorado?
Why not? I mean, especially with USC and UCLA departing, somebody's got to fill that void. Why not the Buffs?
I mean, yeah, I vote yes. Patty?
With no divisions, and with USC and UCLA gone, I think he might.
He'll probably have the most talent in the conference.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they'll be close to Oregon's level. They'll be
Let
like
me ask
Washington.
you a follow-up question. If that happens, how long does Deion stay in Boulder?
That's true, but I can tell you this: with him getting that much money, Joel Klatt was talking about this with what he's done just in this short time, the buzz around the program, and how much that has meant for Colorado as far as their ticket sales going up and everything. Maybe Colorado will open up the pocketbook and go
Not as much as SEC or Big Ten schools.
Probably right, but who knows?
I mean, his incentives supposedly are. I mean, his base salary is like $5 million. His incentives are supposedly worth up to $8 million. I mean, a lot of the top coaches right now aren't making any more than 10. I think maybe people are pushing into the 11 million a year range. But if he's making $8 million off those incentives, what programs? Let me ask you this: what programs would he leave for if he was making $8 million a year and someone else was offering him 10?
There's probably 6 or 7 or 8 in the SEC and probably 4 or 5 in the Big Ten, and then maybe
who would they be? That'd be Alabama's not fucking offering Deion Sanders.
Right, dude. If say he stays at Colorado for 5 years and does a great job, I mean, who knows? I mean, you could look at
Texas, might.
Florida.
He
could
lives
say Alabama, maybe.
He lives in Texas, so
I mean, dude. 5 years from now, who the hell knows what things look like?
That's true. If he is like a proven winner of a coach, then maybe the big boys take a swing on him.
So let me ask you then, with Jeff Brohm at Louisville, will he win an ACC championship?
Kind of feel like that door's opening too, with Clemson not being as good the last couple of years.
I think he can. I think
that door's always open.
Remember, they're getting rid of the Coastal and the Atlantic. So them having to go through the tougher gauntlet of Florida State, they might have certain years where they got Georgia Tech and Virginia on the schedule, and they don't even see Clemson.
Oh man! Now I got to go look up who Louisville's protected rivals will be in this pod situation.
Isn't it Virginia? I think it's Virginia.
If you look at it, Louisville is probably going to do whatever it takes to succeed, more so than most ACC schools. Clemson and Florida State in the same boat. Those are the athletic departments, or just the general universities that will go all in and push all their chips in.
Their NIL collective is ahead of the curve too, man.
Sure.
Yeah. So
I just looked it up.
Go ahead, Patty.
It's Georgia Tech, Miami, and Virginia.
Let's do it.
Yes,
I'm in a generous mood right now. Yes,
Louisville wins one. Louisville's going to win an ACC championship. They'll be in that means they'll be in the playoff. How about Scott Satterfield at Cincinnati?
He'll do exactly what he did at Louisville in the Big 12.
I'm gonna say no. Yeah, I'm gonna say no.
I'm gonna say no too.
It's too tough.
Yeah, which then takes me to Liberty with Jamie Chadwell.
Yes,
easily. That's like the safest bet, right? They're going to win
the conference championship.
It's the USA Conference Championship.
They are going to USA. Yeah. That's right. Yeah, you would think so. Yeah.
How about Beck at Coastal? Tim Beck at Coastal Carolina.
With the Sun Belt getting harder, I find that hard to believe.
I don't think so either.
Maybe. I mean, they're right now one of the better programs in there. So if he has
a
good year,
it is. Yeah, sure.
Not after Big Bird flies away.
I
mean, I wonder if he's going to transfer now. Now, he did say this past year, he said he pisses teal.
Yeah.
So it'd be tough for him to transfer now.
Yeah. He's going to change that to, guys, I piss green. Florida's offered me $1 million. Sorry, I'm a Gator. All right. How about we move along the ranks here? Well, let's talk about Matt Rule at Nebraska. I know we've already talked about him and Fickle, but I think we can revisit it for this episode. And I guess we can ask the letter grade, and will Matt Rule win a Big 12 or a Big 12, a Big 10 championship at Nebraska? I I gave this one I think it's a B higher. I think it's a B higher. Patty C, and I'm also going to say no, they won't win a Big Ten championship. Patty C?
I kind of agree with you on both counts. I might lean, it's B. It's probably a B. It's probably a solid B. But I just, someone mentioned before that he's excellent. Someone in the chat, I want to say on one of the previous podcasts, that he's excellent at identifying talent and obviously developing it. So if that is his specialty, and that's not one that you can easily pinpoint as a specialty, but if that is his, then sure, maybe they do better than we think. But
I mean, he's a program
on paper,
builder.
it doesn't seem like it will.
He's definitely a program builder, and I expect for Nebraska to be better under him. But you talk about win a Big Ten, that now that's going to mean you're going to be better than Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State, USC, UCLA. Keep on going. Iowa. What else? I mean, that seems that's not happening. A little too much right now.
And he did just hire Tony White, the defensive coordinator from Syracuse. I think that was a pretty good hire. Syracuse's defense was kind of chippy lately.
Yeah.
Yeah. What? So you give it a B, Nick? Is that what you said?
Yeah. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. All right. Well, Fickle at Wisconsin. I'm going to give this one a B minus. I don't think it's going to work, and I don't think Wisconsin is going to win the way that they're used to. And a lot of it has nothing to do with Luke Fickle. A lot of it has to do. But well, how about this? Let's talk about this too. He brought in Phil Longo. Whoa.
That's a nice hire.
Portal. Now, but that means, are they saying goodbye to good defense in Madison?
Maybe that's what they need, though. Maybe that's what they need to compete with the teams coming in and the teams from the East. So, no, I think it's a B plus hire. I expect more success from Wisconsin than Nebraska. It's still going to be tough to win that Big Ten championship, though.
I'll be honest, though. The Longo hire surprised the hell out of me. I did not think Wisconsin would go down that route, and it kind of changes a little bit of my thoughts. I thought, because I was like, oh, maybe they can. I kind of don't know what to expect now with that offense at Wisconsin. Maybe they can turn that corner and be better than what I envisioned, but I'm still going to say he's never going to win a Big Ten championship. But I am very intrigued now. I think it's one of the more intriguing hires this whole season.
I mean, assuming that Fickle gets credit for being the defensive mastermind of the Bearcats this past year. And this year wasn't even their most impressive defensive outing. Obviously, last year was. But number 23 overall in total yardage in defense for the Bearcats. And meanwhile, North Carolina, number 15 in total yardage in offense. You put those two numbers together, if you can replicate that at Wisconsin, they're going to win big.
But
that could be a
this
huge
also
hire.
goes back to our question, though. Remember, we would say, like, if you go to this offense, can you have a good defense? North Carolina was certainly talented from a recruiting rating standpoint.
Yeah.
On defense, they just couldn't get it together.
Yeah. Not only do you not control the ball, but the physicality of the team is destroyed by, playing that pansy style. So
it's going to be
interesting. It's not going to happen.
So all three of us say no Big Ten championship.
Yeah, I think so.
To Fickle?
Yeah.
Here's what's going to happen. Let me tell you what's going to happen. Fickle will either win a Big Ten championship, and here's how it's really going to happen. Is Fickle's going to, in 5 years, beat Michigan to keep them from advancing to the playoff, right? Knock them out of the playoff, and Ohio State's going to say, that's our guy. Now's the time where he's beating Harbaugh. We're taking Fickle,
Well, when's the last time Wisconsin's won a Big Ten championship? Did they win one?
It can't be that long.
I don't know.
3, 4, 5 years?
Before divisions, probably. Before there was a championship game, they might have with Alvarez.
So we're talking a while. Alvarez, that was like 15 years ago or something.
Yeah.
So and it's only going to get tougher. So I mean, lately they've at least had a much easier route to the Big Ten championship game.
Wisconsin,
and they still couldn't win it.
Yeah.
Most recent one was, damn, I can't even find it. Damn, it looks like all the way back in 2012. That cannot be right.
I believe it.
Yeah. What do you mean? They had conference games. They had conference championship games.
When's the last time the Big Ten West won the championship?
Yeah. It's been a long time. It's been a long time.
Yeah.
I bet against it. I bet against it with Fickle.
It has been a fucking long time. It's been since 2012. Wisconsin in 2012 was the last time a Big Ten West team won the Big. That's unbelievable. I didn't realize that.
Yeah. It's been a long time. Shout out to Frozo in the chat. Maybe we should just bounce to his question. Because South Florida, they went out and hired Alex Galesh. He's the OC from Tennessee. With UCF. Now, look, I don't know what to make of it. It kind of reminds me of Jeff Scott hire, but at least Tennessee's offense, I think, will work in any scenario for the most part. So I do believe that the hire will be more successful than Jeff Scott. And if we're talking, will they win a championship in their conference? I think it's certainly possible with the fact that UCF, Houston, and Cincinnati are leaving. So now you're going to have, obviously you're going to have to find a way to get past East Carolina, which will be the best team in the conference. But other than that, you have UTSA and UAB and Tulane and Memphis, SMU.
A couple good teams in there.
I'm gonna go ahead and grade this one. I'm gonna just say this is a C.
Yeah, my concern here is that he's just riding Hendon Hooker's coattails. That because
that's not the case, because he was there at UCF and they had a top 10 offense. He's more likely to be riding Josh Heupel's coattails.
Yeah. So I don't know enough about the guy. I'm not sitting here telling you it's not a good hire, but with the same concerns as some of the other ones we mentioned, I think I'm gonna go C+.
I do think he could win a championship though, because that conference is becoming wide open this next year.
And look, I mean, but USF has been so bad lately, but they shouldn't be. They're in a very talent-rich area of the country. There's no reasons why. They've just the reasoning is they've had bad head coaching hires pretty much. Even our guy Skip Holtz, who just didn't work out down there. So
Legend.
I don't know.
Maybe C+. C+.
I disagree completely. And I see GBO Farms in the chat, our Tennessee guy, saying A plus higher. I'm going to give it
he might be a tad biased.
But you talk about Jeff Lebby and Colby. I want to get your thoughts on this. You were pretty high on Jeff Lebby accurately, when no one else really was or was publicly was. And then he came over to Ole Miss.
And I hate him.
Right. But he came over to Ole Miss in the first quarter that he was there. I said, holy shit, this offense jumps off screen as fun and explosive. And lo and behold, they went on to what lead the nation in offense last year, or be up in the top 5-10. So obviously, and I think he only did 1 year as Heupel's assistant or offensive coordinator at UCF. Now, this guy has done 3. 1 year at UCF and 2 years at Tennessee, and each year they've been in the top 10. This year, number 1 on scoring offense and total offense.
I mean, I think the offense will fly. I really do. But I also think they'll be kind of a pussy team. And I think the more you see it, we were talking about this in the office last week about how, everyone's kind of doing some variations of spread, or I know his is a bit different, but I think it will work. The question is can you win the AAC with that year in, year out? Because they should. Let's be honest. From a talent point of view in Tampa, they should at least be right there with
SMU, Memphis.
Yeah, with SMU, probably even over Memphis, because they're doubling down on Silverchild. But
it's tough to say when it's time to get a stop, against another offense that can also play defense, whether he'll be able to do it. But I do think if you're USF and you're putting up a top 10, 15 offense, you take it.
Yeah, no, I mean, right now they need anything just to get back to winning, and then maybe you can build. Let's hop on over. Tom Herman's at FAU. See, I like this hire a lot more because, by the way, FAU is going to be in the AAC, and I trust this hire more than I trust the USF hire.
100%.
I think Tom Herman is I'm going to give this one an A for FAU. Yeah, I think it's a great hire.
He probably deserved a better job, but again, it's a program where, given the right head coach, they can do big things. We saw it just briefly there under his face, Kiffin. Great hire. I think they can win an AAC championship for sure.
Agreed.
I think they will.
It's under the radar enough at a program FAU that no one's going to really complain that he's there. And then, of course, his coaching chops are going to take them, to the top of that conference.
Yeah, you give that one an A, Patty?
Yeah, I'll give that an A.
There we go. Moving along down the ranks. Now we hop on over. Let's go. Let's address the last Power 5 gig. Kenny Dillingham, Arizona State. We talked about this on another episode, but let's just revisit this one more time. And will Arizona State win a Pac-12 championship in the Dillingham era, you think? I gave this one a C+, just like this is very similar to me to Galesh.
What the difference is that Power 5 and non-Power 5, though. Like, you would think Arizona State could attract a better candidate than USF. Yeah. And therefore, it has a worse letter grade to me than Golesh.
So will he win a Pac-12 championship?
No.
Patty?
Yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm going to say C-.
Again, when's the last time Arizona State's won a Pac-12 championship?
They went to the Pac-12 championship with Todd Graham, right? But they haven't won one since what, 97?
It's not easy.
Yeah,
like to see a dude with a more, I guess, established coordinating history. Obviously, you see Cristobal going from Oregon and having a dominant offense there to Miami and shitting the bed. We might see something similar with Dillingham here.
Yeah. Well, let's stay in the desert. Barry Odom's the coach of UNLV. Interesting hire. I don't believe he has ties to that part of the country. I was trying to let me double check that. Look, I like Barry Odom. I think he's a very good defensive coordinator. I thought he got a raw deal at Missouri. I just wonder at UNLV. I do think they want to spend. I think they could be really good. Like, I wonder who he hires as his coordinators. For me, that's a big deal for me. Is who will he hire at OC? But I do believe he's a great defensive coordinator. I love what he did at Arkansas. I thought he did a solid job at Missouri. Yeah, he's from the Midwest, so this one almost makes no sense from geographic point of view. But what do you make of it, Patty C?
If I'm looking at this correctly, Arkansas, who he was defensive coordinator of this year, had the number 123 defense in the country from a yardage standpoint. I don't think that's an accurate reflection on Odom at all, though. I'd have to look back at his previous stats, but I think it's a good hire. I think it's better than they probably deserve or what they've proven, the type of coach they're capable of getting.
And see, Nick, what'd you make of Barry Odom?
Yeah, he was very average at Missouri, but the fact that UNLV is landing someone we've heard of, you could say that's a win in of itself right there. So I like the hire. I'll give it a B. Not positive it's going to work out, but I think they're rolling the dice in the right direction, if that makes sense.
Do they win a Mountain West championship with Barry Odom?
No. When's the last time UNLV won a Mountain West championship? How about never?
Fucking Randall Cunningham.
And that was not Mountain West.
Yeah. Patty C, will they win a Mountain West championship with him?
Doubtful, but I do think Barry Odom makes himself right at home in Las Vegas. He looks like the type of guy that enjoys a Golden Corral. So I think he'll be the toast of the town if they ever do it.
No,
I would have thought. He's the JV Ed Orgeron. That's what I think this is. They couldn't get Ed Orgeron, so they got Barry Odom.
I think B-. I don't think they ever win a Mountain West championship.
Once again, wasn't this like the sources about Chris Peterson?
Yeah, it seemed like a bunch of bullshit, right?
So much bullshit out there. So much fake news out there in college football these days.
College football or the whole world?
Well, everything.
Next up, Lance Taylor. You're probably wondering who. You're going to do a quick Google. He's the new head coach at Western Michigan.
And cyclist?
Yeah. NC Nick, you've been up there in Kalamazoo getting those liquor pitchers at Waldo's.
That's right.
They're excited about this Lance Taylor hire. He was the offensive coordinator at Louisville this past year. Pretty good offense. Had stops at Notre Dame when they went to the playoff. One of the years they went to the playoff. Stanford with David Shaw, the Carolina Panthers, and the New York Jets, and Appalachian State.
Throw
that in there, Lance Taylor.
He's so new that he doesn't even have a Wikipedia page yet.
Yeah, I got nothing here, guys. I have no freaking clue.
Yeah, let's be honest here.
This is a C, right? We just got to say C. Maybe.
Sure.
Maybe it'll work out. Will they win a MAC championship? Shit, yeah. Everyone wins a MAC championship.
I think the problem, I thought Tim Lester was decent, but I think the problem wasn't this year, it was last year.
Yeah.
Last year, Western Michigan should have been better. I think they only went 6-6. So that's what happens.
Well, there's an FCS game we'll be talking about in a bit with Incarnate Words head coach G.J. Kinney. He is a former Tulsa quarterback, and he passed on the Tulsa job at his alma mater to coach at Texas State in the Sun Belt. So he's coaching this FCS playoffs. Shout out to him for not ditching his team like a prick bastard Brian Kelly.
That's right.
And what'd you make of Texas State getting Spavital, by the way, caught a job as an offensive coordinator of Cal, but here we are, G.J. Kinney, Texas State's head coach. Nick, you're a Sun Belt specialist here. What
makes a ton of sense, man. I mean, that offense has been cranking at Incarnate Word. It's in the same state. I mean, everything seems to make a ton of sense. I think it was a good hire. Catching a rising star, et cetera, et cetera.
I kind of like it too, man. Kind of think this one might be a B.
I'm on board.
I wish there was a bigger sample size.
Sure.
It's my only, but
the problem is a bigger sample size, and then maybe he wouldn't go to Texas State. Maybe he would have a bigger job. So when you're a smaller school, you got to take a risk and try to get that rising star.
Will he be a Sun Belt champion?
I still find that tough. I find that I mean, it's hard to become a conference champion. Okay, it's not easy. There's only a very few programs do that. So I'll still say no.
I say no as well, but I'll give it a B. Patty C, your thoughts?
Yeah, it's tough to win at Texas State, win big at Texas State. I'm curious. I see that he's from Gilmer, Texas. I want to see just how close that is to Texas State. About 5 hours. Texas is a gigantic state. So, look, yeah, he probably has some recruiting ability in that state. Sure. I don't know a lot about G.J. Kinney.
What about where Tulsa, his alma mater, Kevin Wilson, who actually probably should have never got fired at Indiana. Kevin Wilson, Ohio State's co-offensive coordinator, some shit like that. I mean, he was the one that kind of built Indiana into a bowl team.
I think it's a great hire.
I do too. I do too. I like it. I'm not familiar. I'm not sure how familiar he is with that part of the country. I'd have to pull that up, but
that could be overrated. You get some coordinators who are, and you're good to go.
But they should have never fired Montgomery. I mean, come on.
I think they upgraded with Wilson, to be honest.
Really?
I think you're probably right, Patty.
Yeah.
I think
his offenses go, man.
I think it's similar. I think Montgomery's a good coach. So will he win an AAC championship? This one actually could happen, though. What do you think?
Tulsa? Nah.
They played in the AAC championship 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, that's a good point, but no.
Well, didn't he have a decent run at Indiana? I mean, I'm pretty sure he got absolutely screwed when Michigan was trying to help Harbaugh win in year one there, and they just gave that one away. But so I think he's good, but I do wonder if his defense is going to be pussy. You know, I think he's just a soft ass offensive coordinator, but a good one.
I'm going to say no AAC championship. Patty?
I'll say no one. Yeah, no championship.
Let's move along to Trent Dilfer. Stay in the AAC. Trent Dilfer is the head coach of the Blazes.
Again, we touched on this one too. What was it, last week or was it 2 weeks ago? I guess last week, probably.
Yeah. But UAB AAC championship, Nick?
No, dude. There's not enough of a sample size. He's never been a collegiate head coach before.
Yeah,
on any level.
Yeah,
and UAB should. I mean, they're in a better position than Texas State. Talking about like a rising star.
Yeah,
they should have hired G.J. Kinney.
Yeah, they should have hired.
No, hey, like maybe I'm wrong, and 3 years from now, I'll be the first one to admit it. But I'm a big skeptic.
Well, no, I totally think we could be wrong here because we just don't know.
Yeah.
This is like the most evident we don't know.
Sure. And we're not afraid to say that.
Yeah, we would be lying if we said we had any idea what his upside at the college level would be. But his Elite 11 or whatever experience, he's basically like the John Gruden, coaches, has the players drawn on the diagrams and stuff at the high school level. So if he really does have a savant level knowledge of offense, then yeah, he should succeed.
All right, let's hop on over to Biff Poggi. A
plus. They're gonna win the championship this year.
We got our guy. We got our guy here. Biff Poggi he's. I mean, I think it's a good hire though. I think it's a good hire. What do you guys make of this one?
You're Charlotte football. I mean, look, the personality alone. I mean, I think we're all rooting for him. I mean, how can you not root for this guy? So sure, why not? I'm on board. It kind of makes me want to root for Charlotte now. And
Dude, how can you not?
Exactly. Let's go 49ers.
This guy's got side boob hanging out at all times during the game. You have to cheer for this guy. You're not a fucking. This is like Dusty Rhodes. He looks like Dusty Rhodes to me, the old wrestler. If you don't root for him, you're not a fucking American.
Dude, will he win an AAC championship, Nick?
Yes.
Yes, he will.
No, in reality,
let's go. Let's go.
Nick, just go. Just ride with it, baby.
Let's just trust it. Right. Have faith in Biff. All right. The final one. Unless I'm forgetting one. I think I have this all noted here. Brent Key, Georgia Tech. Brent Key, NC Nick really hated this hire.
No, I wouldn't say that. I mean, look, he went 4-4 this year. That was a lot better than Collins was doing.
Will they win an ACC championship?
No. The thing, I think Georgia Tech was kind of in a similar boat with Colorado. And the funny thing is that the two of them tied for a national championship in 1990 or something.
Yeah.
The last co-champions in college football. They needed a shot of excitement, and this isn't it. So maybe look, if he's a good coach and they start winning, well, that brings excitement in of itself. But I think just they needed a shot in the arm, and Brent Key ain't it.
Let me push back a little bit. Because, God, who just left? Who's the guy that just got
Collins? Jeff
Collins. Collins was, the Atlanta guy who's supposed to bring in the recruits and make ATL a thing with Georgia, and it didn't materialize. Brent Key has an offensive line background. It's not sexy, but if you just pound and pound, then it doesn't have to be sexy.
It's true.
You just get the advantage and you win.
If you're just a rock solid head coach and you start winning, well, winning is sexy, no matter how you do it. So
that's true.
Apparently not, and this will go into our next one. Well, first off,
unless you win with the triple option, right?
Well, no, yeah, exactly. Well, there's that. Apparently not, but there's also one I'll talk to in a second. But will Georgia Tech ever win an ACC championship under Brent Key?
No.
All right. Winning is not sexy, Nick, in Denton, Texas, because Seth Luttrell was fired.
Probably their winningest coach or one of their winningest coaches of all time.
Besides Hayden Fry, I think he's their second winningest coach.
Do you think that was like relationship based? Maybe like him and the AD didn't get along or something. Maybe there's just more to it.
Could be.
He turned down Kansas State to stay at North Texas.
Bad move, buddy.
Yeah. This is one of those examples where you're like, see, he's loyal. This is great. And you're like, you're a fucking idiot. You know what I mean? Like, oh, man.
That guy's a meathead. Talk about a dude, the coach that would win the Royal Rumble.
Yeah, that dude's.
He played fullback.
His head is a cinder block.
He looks like a fucking fullback.
We love fullbacks here, all right? We want more fullbacks back in college football. I just think that's ridiculous. So the open positions right now, Stanford, Purdue, North Texas, Kent State. There's talk that Troy Taylor, Sacramento State's head coach, is going to interview with Stanford, as well as Jason Garrett. Garrett.
Remember, there was rumors he might be the coach of Duke last year.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. How does he get his name thrown into the ring? Is he a coach right now?
No, he announces for NBC.
What the hell?
Being the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys for like 75 years is a pretty good
a bad head coach for the Cowboys.
A bad head coach, but still
where does Purdue
a lot of experience?
Could Willie Fritz be Purdue's next head coach?
Wouldn't be a bad hire.
Chris Creighton, who beat Purdue at Purdue, they should look at that. They probably won't. Why does Chris Creighton never get any? North Texas should hire Chris Creighton. You want to improve on your roster there? You probably be a slight bit better.
Talk about the ultimate lateral move.
What about Signetti?
Don't you fucking dare! Don't you fucking dare!
What about Kent State? Where do they turn to?
Hey, what about Rich Rodriguez? Does he get any burn at this point?
I don't feel
Jacksonville
like him
State-
and Purdue.
I think you're his biggest fan, and no one else. Is.
Seriously.
Yeah, I don't think they had the best year this year, Jacksonville State.
That's not a good fit with Purdue either. I just
Yeah, I
don't
don't
see
think
Purdue.
so.
He needs like flashier.
You know who?
program or something.
Yeah.
Do you guys remember? Like, okay, I'm trying to think of like an actor like Gary Busey, right? Hold on, look, Gary Busey in like the '80s was getting like the pretty big roles. He was in Lethal Weapon. He was in right. Well, then he got into some drugs, I think, and then he ended up.
You think?
Yeah. And then he ended up in every Master P movie that was made, right? My point is this. Right now, Rich Rod's career, I think, kind of on the Gary Busey Master P level.
It might be. I mean, yes, it is. It is. It's a complete joke at this point, but should it be? I don't think so. I think he's just, he's been washed out of too many places that he can't get the love, but he's still a damn good coach, in my opinion.
We'll see. I mean, I think he's a good coach too, but we'll see if he gets that shot. All right, you guys ready to pick some winners? You guys,
That's what we do.
I mean, should we talk about the Heisman and how Hendon Hooker didn't even get the invite, and Stetson Bennett did, and how the fact they never ever put a running back anymore, which is
Fuck the
ridiculous.
Heisman. Who gives a shit? That's
Yeah.
for square podcasts like something that ESPN or CBS would do. Who cares?
Yeah, like Gary Busey might do. What about Dylan Johnson's statements on Mike 1 Leach?
Sounds like sour grapes. No, I don't know. I mean,
sounds like a little soft bitch to me.
Oh,
second
hold on.
leading
Whose
rusher,
comments?
the second leading rusher for Mississippi State this past season, Dylan Johnson. Here, you didn't see it, Patty? See, I'll read it here.
I don't think I saw it.
Well, he basically announced he was transferring, and this is his statement here, as he says, since I am not very tough and Mike Leach is glad I'm leaving, I will be entering my name into the transfer portal with hopes of finding a more fit playing environment for me. Basically calling him out in his tweet unnecessarily. And honestly, and I thought Real Money Kramer hit it on the head, hit the nail on the head here. Isn't this what a bitch does? Isn't this what a soft guy does? Is he's like, you know what? I'm taking this to Twitter. I'm going to bad shit about Mike Leach.
now
Look, I
people
love Mike Leach.
and people should understand that we're a pro Mike Leach podcast because he's a friend of the program, a friend of the podcast or whatever. But I don't know. It seems to me like this guy might be just a little soft bitch.
Well,
He's
yeah,
probably a
and,
bitch.
and let's be honest. Oh, you're the second leading running back on an air raid Mike Leach team. Who gives a fuck? Bring it. It's irrelevant. He'll find the next guy. You don't need to be a prolific running back in Mike Leach's system.
Now maybe I'll roster Joquavius Marks in DFS next year so they don't cut into each other's carries, touches.
I'm saying this guy thinks he's the next Byron the Wizard White or something. You're a fucking
Crazy legs Hirsch over
Hey,
here.
you're running for 500 yards in an air raid offense. Well, whoop-de-doo. All right. Move along.
Here's what I'm gonna push back. All right, because my brother, who is also a Leach lover, questioned and he said, "Do you think Leach is like eccentric and lovable, or do you think he's annoying as shit?" And I said, I've never met the guy, but I'm sure it's a little bit of both, but I would say more of the former than the latter. I'm sure I think he strikes me as a dude that's legitimately kind of fun, and enjoyable, but I'm sure there's an element of him that like rubs people the wrong way. And especially if this guy is a little bit of a bitch, I'm sure fucking Mike Leach made him know completely.
Yeah. But also he's a system guy. It's like the triple option. It's like, it's not necessarily who you have, especially at the running back. You're expendable to me. Everyone, even Marks, to me, it doesn't make a big difference.
Right? Yeah, the
it's
system
like,
is what makes that
who do you
work.
think you are? You're nothing. Get the fuck out of here. Bring in the next guy. You know what I mean? Anyway, let's get to picking some games because let me get some music going. Here, we haven't heard this in a while. That's our transition music right there. Guys, we got football on Friday. I saw someone in the chat complaining about why the FCS games are on Friday. I kind of like it personally. College basketball is a loaded slate on Saturday. We're going to be
What's
at the
the problem?
Jacksonville. Yeah.
Yeah, what's the problem?
I think maybe he's working. I don't know. I mean, but Friday, we do have 3 football. There's 4 FCS playoff games this weekend. 3 on Friday, 1 on Saturday.
Maybe
we
Friday
start
night
off-
is his club night.
Maybe that's the angle, right? We start off on Friday night, 4:00 on the west, 7:00 on the east, where Samford, the Bulldogs, head into Fargo, North Dakota. They're getting 17.5 points. That is a big, big number. I'm taking the points, guys.
I mean,
Samford has the air raid offense. They kept it respectable against the Georgia Bulldogs. I think they're going to be able to have success in this filthy fucking dome. This caters to Samford more than it does North Dakota State. If you didn't have the dome, North Dakota State's massive offensive line and fucking John Riggins 2.0, aka Hunter Lepke, would be running through them, which he's still going to have success on the ground. But I think they're going to cover that number, and I wouldn't even be surprised if this is a 1-score game late in the 4th. Give me the Bulldogs of Samford. Patty C, what are you doing here?
It's 18.5, you said?
17.5.
17.5.
17.5.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. That feels like Vegas has it pretty close. The Fargo Dome is a tough place to play. What I have been impressed with is North Dakota State kind of opening it up over the past 2 games. They really shellacked Montana last week. Meanwhile, you're right. Samford's early loss at Georgia made us question whether Georgia was the same team that they were last year. So they're a pretty good team, and that loss, 10 straight wins now for them? I think you're right. I think it's just a couple too many points, so I'm going to ride Samford.
Samford, remember, they almost beat Florida in the swamp the year before. Michael Hires is a damn good quarterback, man.
I could not disagree with you guys more. In general, first off, I liked Samford a couple years ago. They were kind of my team in the spring. They did well for me. And usually in FCS, I say take the points. But there's only a couple programs where I'm willing to lay a big number, and North Dakota State at home is definitely one of them. My problem with Samford, even their last 2 wins, their opponents were still scored 40 or more points in both those games. So they have no defense. Meanwhile, North Dakota State is going to be able to limit that offense some. Samford might even get, I don't know, in the 20s. But I would expect North Dakota State to get in the 40s again, if not even higher. So I think this is blowout city here. Give me North Dakota State.
Damn.
He makes a decent point. Aside from the Georgia game, their lowest scoring output of the season was 27 and got to 50 on several occasions, but 0 points against Georgia. If North Dakota is anywhere in that stratosphere, then maybe they shut them down.
Well, later Friday night, we go to Bozeman. This one's not in a pussy little dome. This is one where you play football, and it's 18 degrees, and they're calling for snow. Yes. William and Mary, Patty C's boys, Mike London, the guy who revised the Virginia Cavalier football program. Revived. The old.
What revision was it?
Yeah, they needed to do a revision. This game is intriguing to me because both teams, the number 1 rush offense in the FCS is Montana State. You know who the number 6 is? It's William and Mary. William and Mary beat Charlotte in the FBS. This is interesting. This is an interesting matchup. The line is sitting there at 7.5. Montana State, 7.5 point favorites in Bozeman. This place will be rocking. I'm laying the points with the Bobcats. I think Big Sky is going to put it on the old CAA. Mike London's going to be wishing he was coaching in London for the fucking Monarchs. But yeah, I mean, I actually struggle with this one a bit because I can see William. I think it's going to be a game. I think Montana pulls away late. Montana State pulls away late. I'm going to lay the 7.5. NC Nick?
Like, you know, I've rode the Bobcats the last 2 weeks. They've done me right, but now it's about time to jump off that ship from a gambling perspective anyway, because I think they do win. But I think this is too many points. And I think if you look at Montana State this year, they've had a lot of close games. I mean, it was just a 3-point win over Northern Arizona. Weber State was a one-score game. Go back, Eastern Washington was a one-score game. William & Mary is good enough to come in here on the road and give up, and put up a decent fight here. So I'm going to take the points in this one, but Montana State will advance.
I mean, it's not a huge. You said 7.5, 7.
Yeah, 7.5.
7.5. I mean,
they want you to take William & Mary.
The hook, is baiting, but I mean, William & Mary's offense was cooking last week. They got up early and they scored often. Montana State, Bozeman's supposed to be 34 degrees. Meanwhile, Williamsburg will be 52 degrees. So a pretty significant drop in temperature.
We saw 18 degrees when we were looking at this earlier.
If that's the case, then I don't know if the boys from Williamsburg are going to be able to handle the cold. So I do think, against my wishes, that the Bobcats cover here.
Yeah, to James's point, it is 8.5 at least on DraftKings, but we don't use that book. So obviously shop around a little bit. I'm seeing 8.5s out there too, but depending on who you like.
Yeah, that weather. I think you're off on that weather. I'm actually seeing. Well, I don't know. I'm seeing 28 now, but a high of 28, low of 16.
Well, the game is at what? 7 p.m. or 8 p.m. local time, so it's going to be towards the colder side of that range.
Yeah. Football weather, baby.
Woo!
Give me. So you're going with the Tribe, huh?
No, I'm going with the Bobcats, but I do think Mike London, FCS national champion, the guy has the coaching experience to make a difference, but I still think the cold is the bigger factor.
Well, we pivot to a game starting 30 minutes later on Friday night. Hopefully you have 2 TVs, because Incarnate Word, we were just talking about them. They head to Sacramento, California. 50 degrees and rain in the forecast. The Hornets of Sacramento State are laying 6.5, Patty C. What are you doing here, my friend?
I feel like the Hornets kind of escaped by the skin of their teeth last week against Richmond, but they are the better team, sitting at 12-0. Incarnate Word has scored 56 points 5 times, 56 or more 5 times. That is an explosive offense, but I think Sac State's the better team, and they're going to get it done.
I actually think the rain hurts Incarnate Word more. Sacramento State, the number 15 team, rushing the ball in the FCS. Meanwhile, Incarnate Word, the second best passing team in the nation. If it is raining, which they're calling for, I think that helps Sacramento State. I'm going to lay the points with Sac State, even though I am a bit nervous that Incarnate Word can still cover this thing. But I think when it's all said and done, the rain, too much. Give me Sac State minus 6.5. NC Nick, what are you doing? What's that?
Hold on, Patty, see what you need.
6.5. I don't want to steal if you have a nugget to drop here, but I'm looking at it. They have only won by 7, or they've won 5 of their last 6 games by 7 or less. So Sacramento State, I think, is winning close. So that makes me think Incarnate Word will cover, but I think Sac State wins.
Yeah, look, Patty C and I are Hornets.
Oh,
again, same with Montana State. Sacramento State's done me well the last couple of weeks. I'm jumping ship. I'm going Incarnate Word. I'm going my guy Lindsay Scott Jr., best quarterback in the FCS, and I think you might want to sprinkle a little bit on that money line.
Hello.
Ooh. See, I think, Patty C, to your question about, or your statement about the games being close, but I think you can kind of make a case that Richmond, UC Davis, Weber State could be better than Incarnate Word. It's just the way the playoffs broke.
Yeah, totally.
I'm on the Hornets. Let's go. All right, Saturday morning. Oh, we have a fucking barn burner here at Dana Dykhouse Stadium. Patty C.
Dude, are the Dakotas two hours behind, or is it just 1 hour from the East Coast?
I'm not sure. I think it's 2, maybe.
What's the local time? This isn't a 10 a.m. local kick, is it?
No.
If so, that's awful.
11.
Let me double check the schedule.
So maybe the
This-
Dakotas are just 1 hour. Are they central?
not sure.
This is a 9 a.m. Pacific time, so it might be 10. Yeah, 10, 11. Look, I think it is 10. I think they're probably Mountain Time.
Wow.
I would have to guess the Dakotas.
No, they got to be 11. Why would you tell their fans to come out at 10?
That'd be awful. 10 a.m. I think they must be central.
It's got to be 11. It's
Yeah,
gotta be 11.
either way. Sorry, I just saw that. I was like, that's an early local kick.
These teams are combined.
They are central. You're right. It's
Okay.
central. So
These teams are combined 23-1 this year,
Woo!
with the one loss being by single digits to the Iowa Hawkeyes. Both these teams played FBSs. The road team beat an FBS. Holy Cross did play South Dakota State 2 years ago in the spring league in the playoffs, where they won, or where South Dakota State won 31-3. But that was Matt Sluka's first year at the helm. They're 12-0. They're catching 18 points in Brookings, South Dakota, which is supposed to be cold as shit as well. I thought I read 18 degrees or 19 degrees as well. I mean, Patty C, what are you doing here?
hey, I would say that no one goes in the Dyke House without getting licked, but I'm going to disagree with that. I'm going to say no matter how fucking cold it is, Holy Cross is on a crusade to win their own national championship, and they're going to go in, they're going to cover 18, and they're going to money line this mother effort. Money line.
Sluka.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm seeing a high of 30, a low of 13, so it might get up to, I'd say around 11, maybe in the high 20s. NC Nick, what are you doing?
South Dakota State is the other FCS team, which I do not mind laying a huge number at home. I mean, look no more than last week, where they beat Delaware 42-6, or the week before that at home, where they beat Illinois State 31-7. Like, South Dakota State is undefeated in the Dakotas. They won at North Dakota. They won at North Dakota State, and they also beat South Dakota at home. The Jackrabbits are gonna destroy Holy Cross here, lay the big number, blowout city.
I think you might be right. And this is my logic. South Dakota State has the number one rush defense in the FCS. I've watched a lot of Holy Cross football this year. Patty C can attest to that.
That is a fact.
Not too many people can say that.
They're a run-heavy team. I just think it's a bad matchup for them. They're gonna make Sluka have to throw the ball a lot. I don't know that they'll so Holy Cross is 10th in the FCS in rushing, going up against the number one rush defense. I'm gonna lay the points with South Dakota State. I think it's gonna be give me 28-7, 28-7 final.
Let me push back on you. Mark Gronowski, 19 touchdowns, 5 picks for the Jackrabbits. Meanwhile, Sluka, who you're saying is the inferior passer here,
He's
26
Tebow
touchdowns,
2.0.
3 interceptions. Hey, Tebow won the Heisman, baby.
And
Tebow won the national championship.
there you go. Go with your Crusaders. All right. Well, that's our FCS playoff Saturday morning. And what's great is you can watch the Holy Cross South Dakota State game, and then it'll go right into this. Army versus Navy. They've only been playing it since 1890. Fuck your other college football rivalries, all right? Take your little bullshit out of here. NC Nick's a hater on this game, right? Take his little North Carolina Duke rivalry, shove it, get it out of here, because Army Navy is the real rivalry. It is absolutely fantastic. I think it's easily one of the must-watch games to watch every single year. I don't care. You guys hated it on our draft show where we drafted our best games. Navy's laying 2.5 points. The over-under's at 32.5. I think I read that 15 straight games the unders have cashed. I don't think it will be this one.
Records are made to be broken.
This is in Philadelphia at the Link. Ty Lavatai, the quarterback of Navy, has been injured for the past couple games. He's not playing. Terrell Robinson, the star slot back or H-back for Army is not playing. Patty C, what are you doing in Philly?
Hold on. You said this is the game that you do think the under will cash, or you don't think the under will cash?
I'm gonna go over here.
Neither of these teams has super impressive offenses. Navy number 110 in total offense. Army, let me pull that back up, number 71. So it's not like these teams are moving the ball a ton. Plus, we know when triple option teams play each other, they don't move the ball at all. I think we have another under here. What's the number?
32.5.
That's low.
I got this being a 20-17 game. 20-17. That's all I need. No, 20-14. 20-14. I'm sorry. I said 20-14 on the SGP.
And who's going to win? Did you mention?
I got the Army Black Knights getting revenge on the Navy midshipmen. And look, they're going for a 6-6 season. They have more motivation. I know both teams have an extreme amount of motivation because of the rivalry. But Army wants to close out the 500 season. It's not their fault that they played 2 FCS teams because GBO Farms, Tennessee Volunteers were a bunch of pussies and bought out. Yeah, it means more in the SEC not to play Army, you fucking cowards. All right?
Man.
All right?
Coming in hot.
Coming strong.
Jeez. What did GBO Farms ever do to you?
Yeah, it's bullshit. I love GBO Farms. I'm just saying. Come on. They're
Especially
scared.
when you consider Army's losses this year. I mean, a 10-point loss against Coastal, which that game was close, an overtime loss against UTSA, who's freaking awesome, and then a 6-point loss against Air Force, a 1-point loss against Troy. This team isn't that far away from being fucking, 9-3.
The flip side of that coin is what are their wins? What's their best win? UConn?
It's a good
so
win.
Army's won beating Villanova, Colgate, ULM, UConn, and UMass.
Hey. If Michigan fans are going to tout that UConn win as an important win out of conference, they're a bowl team, then damn it, that works for Army too.
Meanwhile, Navy's last win was the last game they played at UCF in the bounce house. Give me Navy.
Ooh.
We're mentioned, Lavatai is out. Well, he's missed the last 3 games. And what did they do? They lost by 10 in a close game at Cincy. They lost to Notre Dame at home by 3, and then they beat UCF. Navy's comes into this game with more momentum, I think. Army's won 2 in a row over UMass and UConn.
They also lost to Air Force by a smaller margin. Yeah.
G5, I sink your battleship. Go with the Black Knights. All right.
I'm riding with Nick here. I'm on the midshipman here.
Oh man, what about over under? We got to pick this.
Grab your sailor hats, boys.
Over under.
Wait,
what are you doing?
Hold on. What's the number again on the Army Navy game? Not the over under, but the spread.
2.5. Navy's favored by 2.5.
Navy's favored by 2.5. Navy. I'm still taking it. 13-10 Navy.
I'm gonna go over, I think, too, just because I like to see records broken, and it's almost like too easy now. I mean, I would imagine everybody's gonna bet the under because it's almost a thing now. You see it on Twitter. Everybody's saying under. Why not hitting over this time?
There we go. All right.
I say that, but I'm not confident enough to bet it.
Nick, you gonna do a little an FCS tease you were eyeballing?
Oh, yes. Why not? I forgot about that. Let me pull that back up. So if you guys are thinking a 3-team teaser, FCS, well, right away, I'm on the 2 big favorites to cover those spreads. But if you want to, play it safe, I would bring both of those down. That would mean North Dakota State minus 11.5 and South Dakota State minus 12-ish. And then the one game I really don't feel good about is Incarnate Word, Sacramento State. So I'm leaving that out. I'm going to take Montana State down to 2.5 because I do think that's more likely than the other way. William & Mary plus 14.5. So there you go. My teaser is North Dakota State, South Dakota State, Montana State. There you go.
Oh, I like it. I'm going to say, mix a little FCS with the FBS. Army up to 8.5.
That's pretty good. I like that. Yeah. I didn't know that was an option, but of course it is.
and you might want to think about that with the total too. Push that thing up to 38.5. But no, I'm going to say just Army plus 8.5. I'm going to take South Dakota State down to 12. And then let's go Montana State down to 1.5 in Bozeman.
I like it.
Patty, see any interest in a little tease?
Or
Or a parlay? A parlay? You want a parlay?
I'm not super confident. I am. Let me tease William and Mary. Let me tease.
So he's gonna go William and Mary plus 13.5 in Bozeman. Yeah.
Let me tease Holy Cross.
Holy Cross getting 24. That one's that's interesting. I think that might hit. And the final game, you're gonna go to Army.
I'm going Army. Yeah, I'm going Army.
I like it.
I mean, I'm looking at this rivalry right now. It looks like only a handful of times in the last 10 games, 1 or 2 times in the last 10 games, it's gone more than a touchdown. So you're giving me more than a touchdown? Yeah, I'm taking that.
There we go. GBO Farms cracking me up in the chat. Folks, subscribe to the College Football Experience. Subscribe to the College Basketball Experience. I'll be back here in 2 hours talking college hoops each and every night. Subscribe to both. Subscribe to the College Baseball Experience. We come together as one on YouTube, youtube.com/the College Experience. Check out the Sports Gambling Podcast. Give us a follow on Twitter at TCE on SGPN. Patty C's on Twitter at PattyC831. NC Nick's on Twitter at NC__NICK. I'm on Twitter at TheColbyD. Give us a follow. Get over to iTunes. Give us a 5-star review because who's covering the FCS right now? Not many. A lot of hacks out there say they love football. They're not even covering the FCS playoffs or real playoffs, not this cockanimi bullshit they're feeding us in the FBS. All right. Folks, subscribe. Get the SGPN app. Come talk college football with us, too, in the Discord. Maybe you're sweating out Sacramento State. Hop in the Discord. sportsgamblingpodcast.com/Discord. All right, folks, this is the College Football Experience. You better start thinking about yours. And we out of here.
Thank you. Well, this is a great way to get started. And I haven't even won all my gifts yet. It's a great night to be a Tiger. I'm here with my family.
Sometimes people that are standing on third base think they hit a triple. But they didn't.
Because when you're in East Carolina, you go for it every time. Or you don't coach at East Carolina, you don't come to East Carolina, you don't play at East Carolina with a weak heart. Write it.